Hello YouTube, iFixItAll here, Team iFixItAll. Got a simple problem here. Got a Lasko fan. It's making a lot of noise when I power it up. I think I just need to take it apart and lubricate it up a little bit. It's probably never been done. Maybe blow it out with some air. Let's see what's going on. Let's see how this comes apart. Got a couple of screws here. A couple of mounting screws inside there. How does this front come off? There we go. Hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving. I did. Whoa, came off. Got it at got this at Goodwill for $2. USA made. Don't forget to check Goodwill out for vintage electrical stuff. Not that I particularly seeked anything out like this. It just serves a purpose in my house for circulating heat in different areas. A lot of these fan... Oh, listen to that. That's annoying. So let's see what's going on with that. Yeah, see, if you lift up on the shaft of these small motors, it should drop straight back down. And it's trying to. Sometimes these fans have a little screw on the side. Larger ones would have an Allen screw. But this one here just looks like it's pressed on. I'm going to try to pop it off of there. I don't expect it to be easy. There we go. That was easy. Okay. Got a couple of screws, a couple of nuts. Right there and there. Yeah. That's probably just a lubrication job. We'll talk about that in a minute. Let's see, what can I use? Shouldn't need nothing fancier than a pair of VAM pliers. VAM pliers. Put a plug in for them. Alright, this is my go-to tool. Yeah, Christmas is coming. VAM pliers. Victor Alpha Mike pliers. These right here are made in Japan. I can't see the model number anymore. Here's the profile, just for your viewing pleasure. In case you want to get someone a pair. I've got another pair of VAM pliers that I don't use too often. I kind of wish I did because they're dubbed as electrician pliers. I just don't reach for these as often. Although they've got a lot of use. Turn on another light here. See if this even comes on. Why is that not coming on? Is it not plugged in? Oh my goodness. Let me find out why. Alright. There's there's a plug. And there's a plug. It's the older plug. One of these is a... Let's see if that's it. One of these plugs was a scanner. There you go. It's a little better. These grab a hold of everything. I'm sure these would too, but of the two, I like these the best. Take these nuts off of here. Yeah, this has been out on the healing bench for quite a while. Better get me a small parts holder. It's just lessons learned. If I don't have one, 10% of the time I'll lose parts. And that's... wait, I might have messed up. Yeah, I shouldn't have taken those nuts off right now, but oh well. There's a couple of screws back here. It's another good screwdriver. Watch what this does. Okay. You're thinking that's not very impressive. Okay. And all that jingling noise is bits that I got stored in the handle. No clicks, but watch this. Cobalt. I'm sure it's China made, but it's got it works great. Good function where you can hold this and no clicks. It's got hard to explain. I know what's going on in there, but it's a friction cams, spring loaded, kind of like what's in a starter Bendix. Not that that means anything, but if you ever take apart a starter Bendix, you'll see how that works. Here it is in action. Loosen it, and then I go rock it back and forth. Okay, get the screws out. Get the screws out. See what's going on in there. Oh yeah. Now that I've got the two screws on the front undone, I should be able to just extract this thing. There we go. Nice little completely encapsulated transformer. Or, yeah, we'll call it a transformer for now. This is a bearing with a brass bushing in there. Brass bushing. And this is the rear bearing with a brass bushing. And if we were to dive in deeper to each one of these, we might be able to. Let's see. Yeah, we got a minute. Let's see what's going on. This screw passes through the rear bearing, passes through and screws into this front bearing. I just got to mark which side is front and rear, because these can be put on backwards. Sharpie. I'm just gonna, okay. Dang it. I want to go that. I've marked the rear, now I know which way it goes. Yeah, I see what's happening here. Yeah, can't use that function. Make sure there's no additional hardware here. I better at least mark which way is the top and bottom. So I'm going to align that with that, and that with that. Differentiate them. There we go. You see my mark. Slide that off. Slide that off. Pull that out. And voila. Electricity comes in. There's 3 wires. I think this selector switch would tell us something. Bet black is high, red is low. I could be wrong, but the white is neutral. 2-speed. Electricity comes into this 2 sets of windings in here. One path takes advantage of the full path of all the windings and then comes back to neutral. And then the other wire is going to pass through half of the windings. Oh, so this would be low and this would be high. Yeah, red might be high. I could be backwards, but I know that it's 2-speed. If I saw a blue, that means there'd be high, low, medium. But I bet the red is passing through less windings, which means less resistance, higher current, higher RPM. But our problem is when back up a little bit, electricity goes through here, creates a magnetic field, and constantly repels the center part here and makes it spin. I'm looking at the shaft and take a look-see independently. this little part will break down further. Also, you can misalign this if you tap. If you can move this up and down the shaft more. I don't want to move it. One thing that I think I have forgotten is to mark this to the rear. Yeah, I just have to remember that's the rear. I'm going to take a look at this closer. I can probably just simply lubricate this shaft here, but I'm wanting to find out, a lot of times these are assembled and there is an opposing surface inside there with a like a felt material on the inside that absorbs lubricant and is always there to keep this shaft lubricated. It offers lubricity when it's spinning, because right now, if I take a look at this closely, oh yeah, this is a part you need to see. This is a it's a round ball with a hole drilled in it. That's what that brass bushing is. And it's snapped down inside that hole. Watch this. See that? That thing needs to be on the move all the time to adjust to the motor spinning and thrust and all that. And this shaft spins inside that bronze bearing, which is basically like a elbow joint, like a ball joint. And this side might be better to see. Yeah, this is an easy job. I'm just going to lubricate everything up. I've got a mix of Earl here. It's a mix of, it's an old mustard container. I'm going to try to coax a little bit of that in the crevices. There we go. A little bit in there. Mm-hmm. That's spreading around quite nicely in there. Okay, whoops, bumped the camera. And some more lube. This mix is transmission fluid, 10W30 motor oil, and a bunch of Lucas assembly oil. And collectively, all three of those things mixed together, got transmission fluid, Lucas, and 10W30. All three of these mixed together make a good happy medium oil when you're working on doing preventative maintenance on your firearms and triggers and what have you, and cleaning up your gun. That's a good mix. At least that's what my son says. That's who put that recipe together. Lucas Trans Fluid 10W30. This Lucas assembly lube smells like pine. Good stuff for when you're assembling a motor. It's really, really thick, like molasses. Alright, and I'm going to put a little thin treatment of Earl on here and here. Don't know how long this will last. So that's the rear. Let's find out which one was the rear bearing. That looks like that's the rear. Yep, it's matching up. Yep, that one's matching up. So that's the front, rear. Again, this is a pretty simple video, but you don't have to throw everything away. You can turn it into a learning experience. Turn it into something that can be useful for father and son time out in the garage. Why is that not going in? There we go. What I'm going to do is leave this a little bit loose because I'm going to wiggle test it, because those little bronze round bearings that are in there, I want to get them tweaked and twerked to where they're aligned with the shaft on the optimum angle, because I know they need to complement the motor shaft. Get this to where it feels right. Excuse me. Feels pretty close. These are all detented to be recessed inside these little E rings or E layers. All these little individual iron things are, you can take it all apart, They make good shims. These look like they're probably I'd say under 3/1000 a piece, 3/1000 of an inch. I don't know what that is in metric. Metric. Okay. So earlier I was dropping this and it wasn't. I was lifting up on this and it was sticking. Now it's just dropping. Lots of times right in something to point with. Lots of times right in here there will be little non-conductive what would remind you of Bakelite washers. I don't have any in this, so there's a lot of thrust back and forth on this, which is surprising because that's a lot of room for error. A lot of room there. It shouldn't have this much play. I mean, I would almost estimate that's almost full 1/4 inch. Yeah, it looks like we solved the problem. Let's go ahead and plug it in and see what happens. Just like she says. See if it's off. Yep, it's off. Yep. It's turning. What are we on? That's high. This is low. Quiet as a mouse. Yeah, so while it's running, it's getting tossed forward. The center part. It barely even wants to fall backwards. See, it tries to center itself back up. Because the center part is trying to magnetically center itself with these iron wraps, which are getting induced by the magnetic field being created by these windings inside there. Seems pretty quiet. Let me turn it off. Put the fan on it. See what happens with that. Go to low. That's awful noisy. Something's off balance with that fan blade. Because it's really wobbling in my hand like a gyroscope. Let's check that out and see if see where our warpage is. I'm not sure why this is happening. Is it off balance? What I'm doing is starting it up and I'm looking down the blades as they're creating that shadow effect. I'm trying to see if one of the blades is wobbling up and down. And I'm using the background here. I may lay this right in front, so I'll have something. I'm going to be focusing on this part of the screwdriver. And I'm looking for a wobble. I'm turning it off and on real fast. What is that? Why is it so wobbly? It starts gyrating in my hand. Check the plastic out and see if it's got a crack. Let's see if it's level. I'm not real clear on why this is happening. Something's wrong. Why is this happening? Bend these blades a little bit. I'll change the performance of the fan, but something's out of balance. I wonder if it's this. Let me stare at the end. Let's stare at the end when I start it up and see if it warbles. I'm running right now. Do you see a wobble? I'm off. That's high. Why is that happening? Maybe it's not pressing on straight. Let's see if there's something up inside that hole there. Nothing. Maybe if I seat it all the way down, it'll the plane of the fan assembly to be perfect needs to be 90 degrees out of phase with the plane on which the motor shaft is on. And if that's not perfect, we'll have a wobble. Yeah, that's pretty bad. It's not even installed in its housing and it's making noise. What is that? How do I measure this? How do I fix it? I'm following when I bump it on, I'm following the visually I'm following the profile of this circle right here to see if it's shifting back and forth. I think what I should do is pause the video and experiment with removing weight off of one blade at a time. I have to figure out what to do, how to do that. Let me pause. Let me punch a hole in each blade until I make this here wobble go away. Let me pause this. Hang on, guys. Alright, I got it figured out. I know what's going on. Remember when I said sometimes there's washers in there? Little Bakelite washers? Well, that's what's going on with this fan. Watch this. There's noise. I'm going to push up on the shaft. Shit, it's gone. I'm just pushing up on the shaft. What that is the center motor, the center mechanism is bumping backwards on this bearing. Got to take it apart again. I'm going to add some bushings back here in the back. Hang tight. Alright, so here's what I got. I got a couple of fiber washers. I'm going to put fiber washers. They're fabric material washers. Hard to explain, but I harvested these out of something from something one day, but you can get non-conductive washers, fiber washers. They're hard. They can put up with a lot of stress, and if they get a little bit of oil on them, they act as, I'm going to be adding a little bit of oil to these, but I'm going to put one in the rear and one in the front. That was silly. I'm going to be putting one on the shaft in the rear and one on the front. I just got to take this apart again. Hang on. So after a closer examination, I've noticed that there's a bushing right here. And the same on the other end. It's like a rubber shock absorber and a plastic washer. I might be able to get away if I take these two items off. I want to shim the back side of that with this new guy. But I'm going to have to trim it. Whoops. This is too large of a diameter to fit inside that hole, that recess. This is too large a diameter. I'm going to have to trim it with the fingernail clippers right here. So I shall be back. Hang tight. So I've taken a closer look and I've noticed that there's a group of 3 shock absorbers that recess down inside there. When they're all scrunched up, that's what's going on. And what I'm going to do is slide all three of them off. Drop this guy that I've trimmed down into there. Remember how I said there was a lot of forward and aft play, like a 1/4 inch? Well, I've got a red washer already trimmed and installed all the way up against the face of this center rotating part. I've got this piece in there. I'm going to install these guys. I guarantee this will fix the problem. It should not be noisy. Hang tight. Let me put this back together. Well, I thought for sure that would work. Watch this. What a royal pain. Hang tight. I'm going to try to balance out the blades. All I can say is wow. Apparently this was a balance issue. Here goes. Seems like it's I can't see the shaft being bent. I'm going to try to line this screw up with the camera here and turn it on and see if you guys can see if you see any wobble. It's on. It's off. On. Off. Get a decent, better background shot there. Whoops. There we go. 50% of the shaft is showing behind the screw. So you can observe any warble. It's on. Off. There must be something about the thickness of this plastic or something. I don't know. There's no... I'm sure I could measure it all, but I just drilled a few holes at random to see when the problem went away. This is what I've ended up with, so it is what it is. It's not as shaky in my hand either. It's not really twerking and tweaking. And I don't have that noise coming back. Here we go. All right. I'll save you the boring episode of a reassembly. Y'all have a great day. And remember, reject the New World Order and the pedos.